If you haven't seen part 1 and would like to know entries 74 through 51, there is a link in the description. I really want to like Ryu more, but I am complete trash with him. The reason should be obvious, but in case you don't know, Ryu and Ken fight a lot like how they do in the Street Fighter series. Which is really cool, don't get me wrong, but compared to every Smash character that has very simple inputs, it really makes them stick out as a challenging character to master. His weird inputs are also not ideal for a GameCube controller, which is what I use. And this leads to many instances where I do a move and a completely different one comes out. Or I'll do a move and he'll do it, but then he'll randomly do a different move. For example, let's say I do a down air, I'll do it, and then he'll do a Shoryuken all of a sudden, which makes no sense since I did nothing after the down air. And most of the time I use a down air, I'm doing it off stage, so I'll do the down air, then Shoryuken, then I'm screwed because I'm in freefall now, so that's really annoying. Ryu also faces his opponent at all times in 1v1 matches, which is neat and there are pros to it, but it makes it hard to do simple things like throwing out a back air. But even though I can't use him for shit, he has a lot of fun moves, he's fun to watch, and fighting a good Ryu player online is fucking terrifying. I had a replay of a Ryu completely destroying me in this online arena thing, and I wish I kept it because I could show you clips of it, because Jesus, I was fucking terrified the entire time.
Give it your all.
Basically everything I said about Ryu applies to Ken, but Ken gets number 49 because his Hell Wheel, which is his backer, looks sick, and he also has an awesome Shoryuken with a fire effect. Ryu Shoryuken is fun to land too, but man, Ken's is so cool. But it turns out that the 3.1 update that just came out buffed both Ken and Ryu a lot, so they should be even more fun to watch and will probably feel a lot more rewarding considering how much effort they required than any other character. And side note, their Omega stage is probably my most played stage, mostly because of the really good music, so yeah, just thought I'd throw that out there because why not?
Challenge me after some practice.
The aura Lucario has really makes him a scary opponent. Just watching him charge the huge aura spheres when he's at max aura is terrifying, a lot like Ryu and Ken. He's terrifying, just charging those up, Jesus. But what is a turnoff for me is how you're only a real threat when you have taken a lot of damage. And that clearly has a downside to it. Now, that makes it fair, who would want to fight a max aura Lucario at 0%, but the fact that you have to stay alive for so long in order to do some hefty damage makes him a character I don't play a whole lot. And I know he has some good moves that aid people in some badass technical setups and combos, but on their own, I don't like a lot of his moves. Some of his moves I do like are the aforementioned aura spheres, his side B with that cool zoom in effect, and his counter is really cool even though it will potentially shoot you off stage, which kinda sucks. But I'm not a fan of any of his aerials or tilts. I hate his recovery, and his smash attacks feel a lot slower than most other characters. Lucario is a pretty sweet character with a great voice. He's fucking Goku. I'm just not good with him, nor am I interested in picking him up. But I am down for more people in competitive to use him, even though I'm sure nobody really wants to fight him. Poor Little Mac. He wasn't great in Smash 4, but I felt like he could at least stand a chance. But a lack of aerials with a horrible recovery does you absolutely no favors in this game. It didn't do you many favors in Smash 4, but in this game, it's even more noticeable. The reason being, every other character was given less lag on their aerials compared to Smash 4. And Little Mac, well, it doesn't even matter, his aerials are just ass. He's a character with no aerials, basically. There are qualities to Little Mac I do like, however. He has great smash attacks, all with super armor. He's really fast. He's good on stage, but with such a limited amount of versatility in his moveset, because really what I listed is all you can really do. Like side B too, I guess, and counter. But he just doesn't have a versatile moveset, so it makes him a pretty predictable character. And glaring flaws combined with predictability makes him a character I avoid picking basically at all times, but especially in a serious match. I'm sure that they aren't going to rehaul his entire moveset in an upcoming update, so some changes I'd give him are 1. Give him the ability to do a side B after being hit out of it once before. Unlike in Smash 4, Little Mac can do a side B and then an up B rather than just going into free fall after doing the side B. But if you are hit after you do your side B, you can't do another one, which makes no sense. And second, make his KO punch last until he dies or uses it. You can just get hit a couple times to get rid of the KO punch, so I'd implement this change. I think these changes can go a long way in making him a somewhat viable character. Well, probably not, but I'd like to see them nevertheless. Fox is a character I like, but also one I find pretty generic. This is mainly because he has no moves that speak to me. If you ask me about some of my favorite moves for any character, even the character I just talked about, Little Mac, I'd be able to list a ton of moves that I like to use or I like to see implemented in combos and stuff like that. I'm sure those moves have a name like hype moves or something, whatever. But Fox, for me, doesn't really have anything cool. If I had to name a move I do like, it'd probably be his Shine, I guess, but so many other characters have a move like that. His side B is pretty cool, but Falco has the same move plus many other fun moves. I do like Fox, but I just see him as bland. Sure, he's a fast character with fast moves, but none of the moves he does really stand out. I'll use him every once in a while, and I can see why people like him, but there are just too many other characters I'd rather play.
Fox wins!
Mission complete.
As a kid, I really liked using Luigi in Melee, but over time, he is lowered and lowered on the list of characters I enjoy. One of the reasons why I don't really like him is because I feel that he has awful horizontal momentum and really bad horizontal recovery, unless you get a misfire, which is like 1 in 9. And they took away his down B's recovery capabilities, probably to distinguish the move more from Dr. Mario's, but I think he really needed to keep it because his recovery is just awful. He's also a very floaty and slippery character, which makes sense because that's what he's like in his games, but that's one of the reasons I use Mario in the games that Luigi's available in. The slide effect is obviously worse in a platforming game rather than Smash, but it's still something I don't like about him in Smash Bros. So the only reason why I'd ever use Luigi is to fuck around. His side B is really fun throwing out, even though I have pretty bad luck with landing the misfire. I love landing the sweet spot up B, his taunts are pretty funny. Actually, he's just funny in general. But shit like this makes him a character I'd never pick in a competitive setting, even in most one-on-one casual settings. I'll mostly use him in stuff like free-for-alls. And no, I'm not saying he's not viable or anything, I just only like the stupid shit about him. That's kind of what put him as high as he is. It was also cool that he was given the Poltergeist for a grab to give Luigi's Mansion some more representation in Smash. And speaking of that, he has a lot of fun follow-ups from his grabs, so I'll give him a point for that too.
Luigi wins.
During the days of Smash 4, and even before that, I was one of the people who said Ridley was too big to ever be a playable character in Smash. Now, that didn't mean I never wanted to see him become playable, but I thought it was unlikely, especially since Sakurai himself said he was too big and would probably not make an appearance. But once he was revealed, I was pretty happy. Not only because they made him work, but also because all of the people who wanted him so badly in the past, like since Melee, since he was put in that, like, the trailer in for like at E3 for Melee, he was in the video, people thought Ridley was going to be the game. So basically since then, people have wanted Ridley in Smash, and finally, they have their dreams realized by Sakurai. It also made me think about how it didn't matter if he was so big. Olimar is the size of a penny, and Bowser has been much bigger than even Ridley at some points in the Mario series, and they've been mainstays without any complaints. So why not have Ridley in? The size he is in Ultimate is relatively close to how big he was in Super Metroid, even though Ridley was bigger in that game. I'm not saying it was like they were like so close together. No, Ridley in that game was bigger, but it's Ridley's close to that size. And in Metroid, the original one, Ridley is literally the same size as Samus. So I think it's cool that he's in the game, and he looks pretty cool, albeit pretty lanky, which is probably why he's not a heavyweight. But does this story of Ridley's journey of becoming a playable character in Smash make me like playing as him? There's definitely stuff I like about him, but there are also some flaws. While I do like his specials, none of them are very practical. His side B and down B have a lot of start and end lag, and his side B can be mashed out of, which is pretty fair. I mean, it would give him like guaranteed stage control, but his neutral B is good for off stage, but that's about it, and his recovery fucking sucks. He does have some fun moves like Nair, up smash. I actually love how it looks. F smash, and even his specials are fun, even though I don't think they're very practical and they are not the most useful things ever. And I think I can do pretty well with him, but I feel he's just limited. So I like Ridley. I'm glad he made it into Smash, just not my favorite character to play as. Peach is too technical for my liking. When I use her, I just throw turnips while hoping for a Stitch Face or a bomb, fly over the ground and use aerials, and that's about it. But I've heard she has some float canceling stuff that makes her really good in this game. Although 3.1 just came out and I've been hearing that she got nerfed, but I don't know how she got nerfed because I'm too lazy to look it up. But maybe that stuff, float canceling stuff, is taken out, I don't know. I like the way she fights, and I think I'm okay with her. I just can't pull off the technical shit, and there are other characters I'd rather put the time into. But hitting other players with the frying pan is pretty fun. Daisy is better than Peach.
Daisy wins.
Pit is similar to Fox for me in that I think his moveset is kind of bland and that there are a lot of other characters I'd rather play, but I think I'm okay with Pit, and he does have some cool stuff. I like the mechanics of his arrows, but I think they should have a little more knockback. A friend of mine uses Pit, or used to, and he showed me a video where he was sniping a Marth player that was at like 140%, like off the stage, like near the blast zone, and the arrows were basically doing nothing knockback wise. I also like the orbital reflector things, but I'm just a sucker for reflectors in general. His side B is fine, but I much prefer Dark Pits for reasons I'll get into. Other than that, there's nothing I'm really into regarding Pit. At least his moveset's more interesting than how it was in Brawl. Jesus, that was boring, but other than that, he's 41.
That was easy.
For everything I like about Pit, I favor Dark Pit's version of it, and there isn't a lot different. While his arrows aren't as versatile, they at least kill. And I'm shit with landing pits, so I prefer them in that regard too. And his side B sends the opponent to the left or right of you, depending on where you are, rather than Pit where it sends you straight up. So I much prefer Dark Pit's version. He's also cooler than Pit because he doesn't sound like a whiny piece of shit, but he does sound like a brooding piece of shit. With some really nice looking alternate costumes. I do wish they implemented his staff into his moveset other than his final smash. That thing is so cool. Or why not a different weapon from Kid Icarus Uprising? There are so many cool weapons in that game. I get that he's a clone or Pandora's mirror version of Pit or whatever, but it would have been cool if they let him be a bit more distinct than Pit, but oh well.
Looks like I'm the last man standing.
Greninja is one of my favorite characters to watch in competitive. I love seeing all the crazy footstool combos, drag down up airs, shurikens and shit. I just can't do any of it, hence why he's at 39, but it's so fun to watch. Aside from the fun stuff that's mainly used in competitive, he also has a lot of fun moves like Substitute, Side B, all of his aerials, especially bouncing off characters with down air, and killing with up B while hard is great. I also like how he has the water swords and shit. Like, what a cool way to distinguish him from other fighters. Too bad I'm not very good with him, or else he'd be higher. Falco is similar to Luigi for me in that the farther we come from Melee, the less I like him. I still do like him, but I'd love it if he was given back his Melee spike. Falco was given some character changes back in Brawl that have mostly stuck since, and I do like the changes he's been given, mostly. I just prefer some other characters now. The developers have made his laser and spike a lot better than how they were in Smash 4, so that bumps him up a few spots since they're fun to use. He's cool, just not my favorite Spacey.
Had enough already?
I was extremely happy whenever Palutena was revealed at E3 in 2014, on my birthday too. But man, was she disappointing in that game. Her custom moves were awesome, but her base moveset was lackluster, and a lot of her moves were really slow. The only moves I ever really used were her aerials, her grabs, and her dash attack because that shield she has, and that's it. In Ultimate, however, she is a much better character. She's faster, her moves aren't as slow, but still too slow for my liking, and they made her down B a counter and a reflector. Her side B is now the Explosive Flame, which is good, and they made her faster to make up for the lack of custom moves that buffed her speed. Her jab is good, auto reticle feels faster, not a fan of her recovery, but oh well. I still play her, similarly to how I did in Smash 4, but at least I have other moves to dish out. And another side note, I wish they changed her hair color with her alternate costumes. Like, I know one is based on Verity and one is Pandora, I'm pretty sure. I think one is Hades, or I think Dark has that one. But changing the hair color to match that character, instead of just having green for all of them, would have been really cool. Although there is a character who can change his hair color now, and we'll get to that.
Too bad for you.
Oh man, when Snake was revealed at E3 with the line, "Everyone is here," last year, I lost my shit. And what a perfect character to debut the line for. Snake is a character that Sakurai said he was not interested in bringing back. And to see him on such a large stage being the character that lets everyone know that everyone is here is fucking awesome. Too bad I suck with him. I'm sorry, but constantly chucking bombs everywhere is not my idea of a fun character. At least if I'm playing with him for a long period of time. That gets really old really fast. But constantly doing that is so tedious, and half the time I don't even know why the fuck I'm doing it. So that's pretty much what puts him lower than most other characters, but he has some stuff I like. I love his sticky bombs. The Nikita is a shit ton better than how it was in Brawl. He pretty much has an infinite recovery, and like I said in my Brawl characters video, doing moves like forward smash on Jigglypuff and Pikachu is pretty funny, and the grabs, like the down throw, like what the fuck. I also really love watching Snake players because of how spectacular their plays are. Jesus. These guys have like an IQ of 20 billion at least. Like, Jesus, it's crazy. I don't know how they do it, but it's so fun to watch. I've talked about a handful of characters I like to use to just fuck around with, but I'd say King Dedede is my favorite one of those. He has so many funny moves, like his down B, which I know is bad, but I love using it. Using his recovery on stage is fun. The inhale is good. Like, you can use it to like suck up stuff and shoot them back out. Using it on your opponent like directly kind of sucks, but sucking up the projectiles and shooting it back, that's fucking awesome. The Gordos are fun. His forward smash. And all while doing this, he looks like a complete derp. King Dedede has got to be the most expressive character on the roster. He has a memorable face for everything with a voice by Sakurai himself that makes him even better. I'm not great with Dedede, however, and in a competitive match, he's a little too slow for my liking and has shit aerial mobility, but he's a blast to use every once in a while, especially if you want to fuck around with people online. Oh man, that's so fun. Young Link is a character I've always liked, but doesn't have enough for me to proclaim him as one of my favorites. In Melee, he was just a faster Link, which was nice, but I never used him that often. In this game, he's basically that, but they've made some changes that make me like him a tad more. Not much, but just a tad. I love how fast his fire arrows are and how they send your opponent up, where you can do an aerial, which most have like no landing lag whatsoever, so that's really cool. But other than that, he's just an okay character I'll pick every once in a while and won't do horrible with, so yeah.
Young Link wins!
When I said at the beginning of part 1 that there are characters I've wanted to talk about, and that's why I didn't want to do another top 10 list for Ultimate, Rob is one of the characters I was thinking of. I know I said Wii Fit is the strangest addition to Smash, and I stand by that, but Rob is just a toy. Rob is just so weird, and I love it. I love it whenever fighting games in particular have a what the fuck character, and Rob is such a good example of that. As far as his moveset goes, while he's pretty limited considering his only appearance in a video game has been Smash basically, I think the game devs made a pretty fun one. My favorite move of his has got to be his gyro, not only because it's fun, but because it's a pretty good projectile in general, and I know some people who really hate it, so that's probably why I love it so much. He has a solid recovery, his side B is really good in this game, and some fun moves all around. I especially love how moves like his up smash are his ass exploding that kills you, but he does feel pretty clunky, and he's also a huge target, so I don't use him a whole lot, but I love how he's been in the past 3 Smash games. He's just so awesome. Kirby's a character that I think I put way too high on my Smash 4 video. Sure, he has my favorite move in the game, the Inhale. He can do some combos, but he's really slow and has some bad aerial mobility, which is a shame. I like his aerials, forward and down air especially. He has his melee dash attack, which is awesome. And his hammer, while bad, is really fun to use, just like King Dedede's Stabby. And the combos that can be done are cool, but I think it was a mistake putting him as high as I did in Smash 4. I know that was Smash 4, this is Ultimate, but he feels really similar to how he did in Smash 4, aside from like the dash attack. And he's also a character that I've sort of like less and less, like Duck Hunt in the last video, so that's a shame. But unlike Kirby and Duck Hunt, in Smash 4, Shulk was a character that slowly rose for me. Not top 10 worthy, but I definitely started enjoying his range, Monado arts, and quotes more than when the game first came out. And in Ultimate, the buff they gave to his Monado is what made him this high. No longer do you have to repeatedly tap the B button until you get what you want. Now you can just hold B and use the analog stick to pick the correct Monado art. And while the arts feel like they don't last as long, they feel a lot more powerful in this game. And in terms of the Smash Monado, I think it's too powerful. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of fighting Shulk. I have a friend who uses him. Wait, did I say friend? I mean, I know someone who uses him, and let's just say he's good with him. When it comes to things I don't like about him, there isn't really anything, to be honest, but there are some small nitpicks. While his CSS picture looks super badass, in-game he looks like a Barbie doll. This is especially noticeable on the victory screen. Jesus, it looks ridiculous. And my other nitpick regards his alternate costumes. I love the color of his clothes, but man, he does not look good with different hair colors. I'll say the black looks okay, and obviously the blonde is fine, but there is so much red hair, and it does not look good with Shulk. And neither does the gray, but of course that one doesn't. And I understand why they made this change, and I'm sure Xenoblade fans appreciate it, but yeah, I am not. Maybe if his character model in-game looked better, maybe I'd like it more, but probably not. I don't really like it.
I can feel the power!
I don't care much for Pikachu in terms of a character, like Pikachu himself, not like a Smash character. Sure, he's cute, but he's goddamn everywhere for marketing Pokemon, so let's just say I prefer other Pokemon. But as a character in Smash, I like Pikachu, and I think I'm okay with him. But this might sound dumb, but Pikachu isn't any higher because I don't really care about Pikachu. I'll use him, and I like his playstyle, speed, and moves and stuff, but character also means a lot to me, which is why characters like Dedede and future characters got where they are. And there's a similar character to Pikachu that has those factors that led to it grabbing a higher spot. I'm sure you all know who that is, but in case you don't, here's some suspense.
Pikachu wins!
Whenever Richter was revealed for Smash, I was shocked. Since when does a third-party character get 2 reps from their franchise? Well, since Castlevania, and I was really happy when he was revealed. And while I like using him, projectile-based characters aren't my strong suit, and I'm also not the best at spacing for like the whip, but his moves are so fun to use while they can also be overwhelming for the opponent. I also like watching him, I'm sure all of you have seen the clip of the Richter player down airing the Pikmin to get back to the stage, but that entire match was really fun to watch. For Richter. Olimar, fuck you. Richter, that was awesome. Richter also has a lot of little animations that I love, like his forward throw, bouncing off people with his down air, his crouch walk, and, well, basically all of them. He looks cool. He also has the worst move in the game, the holding jab. Yeah, holding jab does this. I know it's a move that he did in his games, but this thing is just so bad in Smash. Well, I don't even know, was that intentional? Was it supposed to be this bad? I don't know, but God, it's so awful.
You don't belong in this world!
I like both Simon and Richter about the same, but if I had to pick one over the other, I'd go with Simon. Mainly because he looks cooler, but I'd say Richter has the cooler name though. Richter, that's such a cool name.
Simon wins!
I've never cared much for Link in the other Smash games, but the changes they gave to him here make me want to use him outside of annoying people on For Glory. The remote bombs are a winner for me. These things can create or add longevity to a sick combo, and not to brag or anything, but I've been able to do some sick shit with those bombs. Being able to shoot 2 arrows is also really cool, but the change to his boomerang I think kind of sucks because I kind of prefer the Gale boomerang. I think the boomerang he has now is better, but I like whenever moves have wind properties. Mostly to laugh whenever they fuck up a combo or save someone, like the wind pushes somebody away. But sometimes it would bring them to the opponent and do something cool. But whatever. Whatever. The boomerang he has now is cool, so I'm fine. No more tether grab, which feels weird for Link, but makes sense since he's Breath of the Wild inspired, which looks really cool, might I add, and all of his skins look super sick. And one last thing, I love how they gave him the beam that comes out of his sword whenever he's at 0%. It's such a pointless touch, but it's still so cool.
Link wins!
Chrom is a pretty cool addition that I've heard a lot of people wanted in Smash, but he's probably the only Echo Fighter I don't care much for. You're probably thinking, why is he so high if that's the case? Well, that's because I'm good with him, but I much prefer the character he's an echo of. And the different recovery he has compared to Roy, I think really sucks, because he doesn't have access to a horizontal sending move like Ike's side B. Sure, Roy has a bad recovery too, but at least you can send it at an angle rather than just going straight up every time. But Chrom, I think it's really intimidating, like his up B, whenever like he uses it, it'll drag the opponent down. That shit's scary, but he can't like get to the stage easily, so I don't like that. I don't like his recovery overall, basically. I think he's good, and I can have fun with him, but I don't use him all that much at all. I do think he should be higher than the other characters I don't use at all, because I think I'm good with him, so that's why he gets spot number 26.
Training paid off.